Hey, gang, welcome into another edition of Rock Talk with CGCM Rock Radio and Rock is Not Dead Australia. Bob Bannister with you as always. Hey, why don't you do us a favor? Click that like, that share, that subscribe button. Click that bell icon. Stay up to date with all things Rock is Not Dead Australia, CGCM Rock Radio, and Rock Talk as well. Also, you can drop us a comment. Let us know what you think of these interviews. Maybe there's somebody you'd like us to chat with, and we'll see what we can do about that. On this edition of Rock Talk, catching up with a guy from a band that's been around for quite a while, actually 30 years, I believe he said. That was news to me. Now, I try and do my homework as best I can, but you know what? Every once in a while, there's an interview that just really surprises me. And this was one of them. My favorite story, and I want you to listen for this one, is the story about the name. I thought that was just absolutely brilliant. So let's step inside the Rock Talk studio, catch up with Frankenbok on this edition of Rock Talk with CGCM Rock Radio and Rock is Not Dead Australia. And as promised, Rockaholics, it is another edition of Rock Talk with CGCM Rock Radio and Rock is Not Dead Australia. Joining us this time around from Melbourne, we have Adam joining us from the band Frankenbok. Welcome into Rock Talk, my friend. How you doing?
Very well, thanks. Thanks for having me, Bob. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. So give us the story of Frankenbok for those of us that might not be that familiar with the band.
Of course. Frankenbok sort of started back in the summer of '97 with Aaron Butler, the guitarist. He'd returned from living in Florida for a few years, and after sort of trying to get into some bands there, he decided, well, I'm gonna go have my own band with blackjacks and hookers and do my own things. We sort of started recording a bunch of stuff with a on a Tascam 4-track recorder with a drum machine. And he came back to Melbourne and he was pretty much passing through and he showed me the tapes. I'm like, this is really cool. I like this. Do you want to start a band and can I put some vocals to it? And he was like, yeah, cool. Okay. What are we going to do about drummer? I said, well, we'll just start small. We've got the drum machine. At the very least, we can produce kind of demos and recordings. So we started that way. And then a mutual friend that Aaron had played with before in the past, Tim Medeke, he ended up stepping up as the bass player. And then the band just slowly built itself. Scott joined. And then we had after we'd done the first album, we actually found a drummer that lived across the road from Aaron's dad's house, and he took over drumming duties. And then it went from there. And then from November, sort of 2002, the band went for a bunch of lineup changes. And it's the band's been around for nearly 30 years, and it's had all
Oh,
these
wow.
different lineup changes and reconstructions of sorts, and all very different types of albums. But yeah, I rejoined back in October of 24.
Okay. There we
Yeah.
go. And you guys just released a new single not that long ago, FAFO, and there's the interesting video on Facebook, shall we say?
Yeah, FO, it's abbreviated for fuck around, find out. It's
Exactly.
based on, I guess, the disposable culture of Tinder and internet dating and stuff. And I've been through that myself when after I broke up with a partner, a fiance of sorts, and gave Tinder a shot, and just the disposable nature of things, and even just kind of having a bit of fun and whatnot, and then you sort of meet someone that's contracted like an STD, and it really sort
Mm.
of hits home, and that's kind of like what the song's about. I'm not trying to trivialize or shit on people that have had that because there's so many reasons as to why these things can happen to people. A lot of people are dishonest. Some people just aren't careful. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why, but it's just where the song kind of took me lyrically. I had these lyrics lying around, and it's something I wanted to sort of say. I like to take dark themes and take the piss out of them. I think there's too much barcodes and political stuff in metal. And Frankenbok's the point of our music is we try to be heavy, but also fun. It's like a nude wrestling in a maximum security ring. So
So where does the name Frankenbok come from? That's an interesting name.
Again, it was born in Florida when Aaron was living over there. He was hanging out with some Yanks over there, and I think the conversation came up of what are some of the Australian sayings there? You know, you got "G'day," "She'll be right," "She'll be apples," all that kind of stuff. And then there's the saying "fair income," which kind of means like, "Oh, really?" or "Are you serious?" kind of thing, and for real kind of thing, I guess you would say it
Right.
means. And basically, what happened was one of the guys tried to use that in context in a conversation they were having, and it was basically like, "Oh, Vegemite, you guys eat that shit, Frankenbach." And Aaron's like, "What?" And he goes, "What's that word? You know, Frankenbach?" And he goes, and I don't know, somehow they worked out it was mean. He was trying to say fair income, so that's what Aaron ended up calling the project when he had those recordings back in the day. And I liked the name. I thought it was kind of cool and interesting, and yeah, and also a Frankenbok apparently is, I think it's a German Warcraft airplane or something, and it's also a beer, which we didn't realize back in the day, but later on found out. So yeah, I think it's a cool name. It's there's no yeah, and sometimes you can start a band up too, and then you give it this name, and then you Google it, and then there's like five other bands like that. Like my first band was called Bacterium, and I've later found out that it was a Japanese thrash band or something, so thrash metal band. So yeah, no, there's no other band called Frankenbok as far as we know, so we don't have to fight for the rights of the name or anything. So yeah, it's good.
There, there you go. There you go. That kind of reminds me when I was back in college, I had a Friday night drunken jam band, and we called ourselves the Nobodies. And then years later, you just kind of Google the Nobodies, and there's like 40 different bands called the Nobodies.
Everybody's a nobody. Yeah,
Absolutely. But you've got a new record coming out on May the 26th,
29th actually. Yeah,
29th. Sorry.
that's right. Nine is six upside down. So yeah.
There's that whole vision thing coming back to haunt me right there.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
So do we have what's the title of the album if you can
We've called it the Ariba Warhunkel, and I haven't really given too much thought as to why we called it that. It's just we just thought the name would be interesting. Um, some of it's to do with a lot of slang that certain people that we hang around say, and one of the sayings that again Aaron says is he calls things warhunkles and warhunklers and all that kind of stuff, and I always liked that, and I just remember that saying just kind of cracked me up. And the songs on this record, they're quite groovy and dancey, like in a sense that there's an energy and a momentum to them. It's almost like a brutal celebration in some ways. Like the songs are quite sort of anthem-like and have a lot of energy
mm,
to them. And I think with the guys' agenda now with the music, they want to write music that's, you know, not so brutal as per much to say, but has an energy and makes you kind of want to move. So one thing I've noticed with this record when we play it to people and we're showing our friends before it's come out is that you sort of you look at people's hands or their feet and they can't help but tap. And we sort of touched on that with a previous track, Dopamine, but I think that's where we kind of want to go now. Like it's I think gone are the days where the musicians in my band are interested in impressing the great musicians. I just want to write kind of good songs and things that are fun to play and enjoyable for people to listen to, but still has a bit of bite to it, I guess, as well. But I don't know, I don't really overthink it too much now. It's more like, well, I like these three guys. They seem to like me. We trust in each other, and there's no every idea gets fostered and nurtured, and that's what this record's kind of about too. Yeah.
so then how would you describe your creative process? Like, is it somebody brings in an idea and then everybody just kind of jumps in and jams on it, or is it more somebody comes in with a fully fleshed out song and says, "Hey guys, learn this."
It's a bit of everything. Aaron predominantly writes most of the riffs, but Tommy and Owen do their own thing. They put their own thing to it. It's not so much that Aaron might sort of have an idea, but they'll again put their own thing to it. One of the songs that got on this record originally started out as a 1.5 minute kind of thrash punk song, and it's turned into like this big grandiose rock opera song, and it's about the beach. It's about certain band members' connection to New South Wales and Nelson Bay, and we were sitting talking about it, like we're about writing a song about the beach. And then I sort of thought, okay, and then I sort of thought about what the beach means to me. So the whole thing of, the sand and eating a gelati, seagulls, chips, watching the sunset, um, people in bikinis and lots of confusing things. And
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, but that's just there's that whole connection with us with nature and the water and stuff. And so yeah, we tried to put some a bit more personal stuff, but also not taking ourselves too seriously with the lyrics and whatnot, if that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
No, it makes total sense. It makes total sense at all. But how would you describe your live show? Like, what can people expect to see if they go and see Frankenbok live?
Um, we try to be entertaining. We try to put on something that's energetic at the same time, considering some of us are, I just turned 50 myself, so I'm probably not the fittest person anymore, but we try to put on an honest, intense, spontaneous, but humorous and entertaining show. Yeah. And
Now,
keep it, yeah.
now, one of our sponsors here on CGCM Rock Radio is Iron Maiden Trooper Beer. And as everybody knows, Yannick, the number three guitarist for Maiden, is the guy that will fall off the stage or drop his guitar or something like that. Have you guys had a Yannick moment on stage?
Um, to be honestly, not recently, no. Again, our guitarist Aaron is quite accident prone, so anything that happens tends to happen just before an important thing. So when we were filming the dopamine film clip back in it was late 2024, early 2025, we spent the whole day filming. It was really hot. It was fun, but also uncomfortable. And the guy that filmed it was Borgie. He's quite an intense dude, and he was really trying to get the most out of us to make us look intense and all that, because he films a lot of extreme sports stuff,
Right.
and he didn't want to do anything that was kind of phoning it in. And then there was one last sequence, and he wanted to get Aaron riding this dirt bike across whatever, and he was pushing him to go harder, 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 and faster and whatnot. And then there was a massive rock in the grass that
Oh,
Aaron didn't see, and he pretty much, yeah, head over ass, ass over tits into the grass, and he shattered a bunch of bones in his, guitar playing hand, his left
oh
hand.
no.
His hand was pretty much like a stood on, almost like a stood on bag of potato chips, and it was scary because we had a gig in a couple of weeks coming up, and then we were about to go and do a tour with Drowning Pool and Alien Ant Farm. So it was scary to think, well, will he be able to do it? But Aaron's kind of more machine than man. He's got so much titanium in him because he's always having these accidents. Like he rides a motorbike, and he's had so many near-death experiences. We call it his yearly break because he always breaks something nearly every year. So but thankfully, touch wood, nothing has happened yet. So but what's good about the record coming out is we don't have shows for about a month or two, so it's going to give people a bit of time to digest the record before we start playing. But we're still at the moment of dotting our I's, crossing our T's, and getting our ducks all lined up before we sort of announce any kind of tour. If that, yeah, I don't know. I still don't know what we're doing. We're trying to work out a good way of doing it, but we don't want to
Mm.
oversaturate as well. So yeah.
And now you were talking about your guitarist being accident prone. It just seems like everybody seems to have somebody like that in their immediate orbit. Like I work with a guy who's always got like, a sprained wrist, sprained knee, or it's just weird how that happens.
I find I like the morbid contradiction in a lot of people that like to keep fit and play sports and whatnot. And the people like that in my life are the ones I'm finding they're constantly breaking their legs and breaking
Hmm.
their arms. I just find the irony of trying to keep fit is actually doing more damage to their body. Whereas I don't do that much at all. I mean, I eat a lot. I sit around. I walk and stuff. But I mean, I chipped a tooth on a fucking hot dog last weekend, which was quite strange. But I'm not very accident prone, I don't think so. But sometimes you just get a little bit of bad luck. You just got to be careful, I guess. When you ride things like motorbikes, you've got nothing around you. You've got no cover, so
Exactly.
you've got to be careful. And that's the one thing. Like I like riding. I don't really ride motorbikes, but I ride the quad bike in the field and stuff. But
Mhm.
there's nothing around to potentially hit me. I do it in very safe and controlled circumstances. Whereas kudos to people that can get on a bike and have that kind of courage, but it scares the hell out of me. And it's not having faith in the vehicle itself. It's people. Like there are a lot of stupid drivers out there that don't think. I mean, I was in a car once with my uncle when I was 15, and he nearly took a bike rider out. I had a cousin whose partner rode a bike, and he died on his motorcycle. So
Oof.
it's quite a scary thing, and but I love them, but I don't like the context of a motorbike being out on the main road. Like it would not be my first choice of transport, but I get why people do it. They love the freedom, but
Mhm.
it's do it in the safety and controlled atmosphere of a field or something. But I guess that's not really living your life either. But no broken bones here, so I'll take it.
Now, one thing I've noticed going back through your catalog, and I'm starting to see a bit of a theme here through several different artists and whatnot. I'm seeing um, 80s pop tunes being covered. You guys did "You Spin Me Round," the Dead or Alive cover.
Hmm.
Um, I've noticed another one by Sound Affliction. Everybody wants to rule the world. Tears for Fears. Why do you think people are suddenly pulling out these old 80s pop tunes and giving them a rock spin?
That's a good question. The first song that kind of broke our band through a long, long time ago, back in sort of 2001, was a cover of a dance track at the time, which hadn't been out too much uh, longer than we'd put the cover out itself. I think it's so a lot of bands. I think they try to do it for ironically for a bit of humor, maybe to show some diversity and range. I know we do it because for us it's a little bit of a vacation from what you're doing as well. It's also great to take someone else's work and do an interpretation of it as well. And I guess for me, where I'm coming from, many influences, but Faith No More have done some great covers and
Hmm.
renditions and interpretations of songs. I just like doing that too. There's another cover on this new record as well. We do a cover of our Hoodoo Gurus like Wow Wipeout, and that's a really cool rockin' song. But I mean, with the covers we sort of do, and there's ones we do that we haven't even recorded. It's just because that song sort of means something to somebody, or we feel like, yeah, we can put a great spin on that. We're also, we've got a cover of Edge of the World by Faith No More that we've turned into like a really heavy, sludgy, doomy kind of blues song, which is a total, escape and total reinterpretation from the piano loungy bar ballad that it is. But
Hmm.
we haven't played it live yet, but it's something we're working on. There's a whole bunch of things we're always working on to try and do stuff. But yeah, for me, I think covers are fun in the sense where it can be an escape from yourself. And for me, also doing Frankenbok now and playing some of the songs that aren't from my era, it's fun for me to reinterpret those songs as well because singing somebody else's lyrics and putting my own spin on it as well, it's fun. I think I get bored playing my own stuff over and over again. So it's a vacation, a creative vacation for myself, which is good.
There
I,
you
I
go.
can't speak for other bands though, but yeah, that's why we do it. I think, yeah.
So if I was going through your record collection then and came across something there, what's the one album that I would pull up and go, hold on, Adam, what like WTF? What's what's this?
Oh, there'd be a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't know. I like all sorts of stuff, and at the end of the day, you like what you like. And I don't really have closet tastes anymore. I used to call them that, but I like what I like. I mean, I like everything from classical music like John Williams and Star Wars soundtracks to stuff like Kelly Clarkson and whatnot. I love Alanis Morissette. I like Prince. I like Elton John. I love In Excess. But then I love brutal death metal like Napalm Death and Carcass and Damaged and Converge and everything in between. I don't know. It's music to me. I've got many sides to my cube and many sides that like to be nourished, and things tickle you in different ways and whatnot. So I appreciate everything. So I mean, I was sitting up with my partner last night and playing some songs that really moved me. Like I think there's genius in a really beautiful love song or something that makes you feel something, as cheesy as and unoriginal as that is to say. But then I
Mhm.
also love the intensity of stuff too. Like people are just brilliant. People are so creative and amazing and so inspiring. And I'm past this point now where I punch down on things and bag things out. I try to enjoy everything and just like a movie, it's like you can watch it once, and it's the same thing with an album. If something puts something out, I'll check it out, and if I like it, I'll return to it. If not, it's like, well, good on it. And I think there's no point putting anyone down, especially a lot of people that do these sorts of things. It's like, well, where's your great album? Get off your ass, get off the couch and do something as well. And it's a lot of jaded people that aren't living their best life or even doing anything or getting anywhere. They're the ones that tend to punch down. At the end of the day, we're all trying to do the same thing. It's a community, it's an expression of or whatever reason you do it for. Some people do it to bang chicks. Some people do it because it's an expression of themselves or it's something in them. It's a disease for some people. They just can't give it up, no matter how much money it costs and how much effect it has on their relationships or their work or their finances. I don't know. It's different for everybody. I don't know if that answers your question, but
No,
that's what came to.
That's a fantastic answer. That is an absolutely fantastic answer, my friend. So now, before we wrap this up, I like to back away from the interview a little bit, have a little bit of fun. I like to do this thing called the wrong game. I'm going to shoot you just a few questions here, and the whole object of the game, there's no points to it, but the whole object of the game is to answer the questions with the wrong answer.
Okay.
So if you're ready, we'll go with the rock and roll version here. Which band wrote the song Bohemian Rhapsody?
Anal cunt.
What band's original lineup featured Ozzy Osbourne as the lead singer?
The Spice Girls.
What's the name of U2's lead singer?
Oh, I know the right answer. I'm trying to think of a good answer for that. I'm going to say Billy Ray Cyrus.
Which group is famous for writing "Dream On"?
Marky Monk and the Funky Bunch.
And finally, what city is often credited with the birthplace of grunge?
Doveton, Victoria, Australia.
There you go. There you go. Adam Glynn from the band Frankenbok. I want to thank you for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk. Take a few more seconds and shamelessly self-promote the band.
Oh, thanks so much for having me on. Yeah, we're a band from Australia. We've been around for nearly 30 years. We have a new record, The Ariba Warhunkel, coming out on May 29. It's on all streaming platforms. You can get it from our Bandcamp. It's on CD and vinyl. We've got a new film clip that'll be dropping about 6 hours before that comes out, Geppetto Scarecrow. We've got a new single out, Fafo. We've got a whole bunch of records, CDs, merch available. If you want to learn more about the band, go to frankenbok.net. Follow us on Instagram, frankenbok666, and we're also on Facebook. Um, our stuff is available on all the formats, all redundant hipster technologies, and we'll come and play your birthday if you want us. We've done that before, so yeah, we love to play. We love meeting people. We love playing with diverse and interesting bands, and yeah, we hope to keep doing it for the next few years. And we really hope people check out this record. We're really proud of it. It was a great experiment that we didn't know if we could or would get done, but it's turned out great. Luke Walton at Danger Tone Studios is awesome. He's worked with King Parrot and Psychroptic, and he pulls a really fat sound. So yeah, can't wait to show people.
Very, very cool. And don't forget, guys, click that like, share, that subscribe button, drop a comment as well. Show Frankenbok some love. Show some love to CGCM Rock Radio and Rock Is Not Dead Australia. Again, one more time, Adam Glynn, thank you for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk. Capital hat, by the way, my friend.
Thank you. I like the shiny shoes governor look. So yeah.
Absolutely. There you go. And we'll catch you again next time on another edition of Rock Talk right here with CGCM Rock Radio.